Hello and welcome back to the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown. We're back here on the analyst desk looking at Group B, which is coming up next. And we got some really amazing, great teams in that very group. It's going to be a very tough one to call, but we are going to force you guys to do it anyway, because I will be asking for predictions. Maybe let's start with fish stakes. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Only two can really advance, so...
We've been calling Reunited an underdog for so long that you can't really call them an underdog anymore.
Yeah.
They're looking so strong right now. They've been together for so long. I really, truly believe that this team is going to go super far in this tournament. Cloud9 as well is my other pick to go through. I think one Cloud9, two Reunited. That's what I'm going to call.
I think we've seen from obviously the Group A, American teams are strong right now. Clearly, Fnatic obviously going through as, technically the favorites against Misfits now in the playoff tomorrow. Cloud9 clearly looking the favorite for this group now, because they are the #2 team in America. Obviously, Envious swept everybody aside. We kind of expected that, but now Cloud9, everybody was thinking, yeah, but Envious are great, but how good are Cloud9 and Fnatic? Well, Fnatic beating Misfits pretty convincingly, sort of set it in my side, they are top one. Reunited, as you say, very experienced at Gamescom. They've been here 5+ years now across a plethora of tournaments. They've won 4 years running here in Battlefield, from what I remember. So they are very experienced in winning at Gamescom, and more importantly, playing in this noisy environment. It is, a lot of people that come to Gamescom, they're like, sure, you're at an event, you're at a tournament. They don't understand just how noisy these cons can be.
And pressure, too. Yeah. Having a crowd, knowing that people are watching at home, it's the biggest tournament to date. Those are huge factors. With that being said, I think Cloud9 very experienced. They've already won one live event. I'm going to say Cloud9 first. Second, I think it's a little bit up in the air. It's going to be, I think, between Rogue and Reunited. And then I'm going to actually call for tomorrow, too. I think the final is actually going to be, I'm going to do it now, just so I get the credit if it happens.
Let's do that.
It's going to be Envious versus Cloud9 in the final. And then I already know who's going to win, but I'll save it.
Okay, you save that. Okay, good.
I will just say the difference we're going to see here, obviously we saw Dignitas sort of going out without a whimper effectively. They didn't really throw any spanners in the works. compLexity played Hanamura a number of times in the qualifiers. I expect to see them trying to pull out something like that. Hanamura, Voska is in there as well in the map pool. So
you
maybe
expected.
I expected.
Like you demanded.
Yeah, I know.
You kind of asked.
Not like Jason. I'm not going to say we're all going to shave our heads, but
but we do.
I almost expect Hanamura to come out as their map if they lose Kings Row.
Okay, that's going to be interesting. Well, the first matchup we're going to have for you in Group B is compLexity against Reunited, and let's actually take a look at Team compLexity.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks for compLexity Gaming, but things are starting to fall into place. I think playing up against Envy to try and qualify for Gamescom seemed like too much of a task for this squad, but dropping down to the lower bracket in the qualifying tournament, Harblue really managed to rally the troops and compLexity stepped up their game, giving them a huge win over Energy and a massive upset over Liquid.
But that helicopter's never getting off the ground. We're not at this stage anyway. It won't be headed to Cologne. Congratulations to Solo Mid. It's a 3-1 victory here in the final match of the NA Regional.
While definitely not a hot favourite going into this tournament, I think the compLexity have shown an ability to capitalise on momentum in their games unlike any other team in the scene.
Yeah, and that is Team compLexity, as we are seeing some of the players getting ready right now. All focused, all focused. What are you guys thinking about their live performance in general at Gamescom in front of such a stage? Do you think any of those teams will be faced by that at all?
I mean, you're always going to get phased by a crowd at some point. It's just how quick you can settle your nerves, how confident you are. compLexity didn't boot camp, much like we saw Misfits. They didn't have a boot camp themselves. I believe the compLexity facility wasn't quite ready for them yet. They're setting something up right now, I believe. It's Jason Lake, isn't it, that's doing that. But I don't know, man. They're coming into this one underdogs. They surprised a lot of people in the regional finals. Obviously, everybody expected kind of Energy to be here, but they've had a really bad off season. Effectively coming into this, they just sort of slipped away since Switch. Ironically, since joining Shaq's team.
Sorry, Shaq.
Sorry, Shaq. But sorry, sadly, Siegel is not here. Siegel and team, as it tends to have become known as. But
are they known as that?
that's what they tend to be known as.
Wonderful.
But the problem is they're up against Reunited, who are a solid team. They qualified with ease, and it's going to be a tough old task for them.
Look, Reunited are incredibly strong, but I hope that nobody counts out compLexity.
No.
This is a team that got third at Agents Rising, the first ever LAN event in North America. They have beaten every top team except for Envious in North America several times. They were known as Code 7 and Gale Force and TSM. They're finally compLexity now. But this team has accolades. They have the background of performing at an ultra high level. They just haven't been at that level over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see. A lot is riding on this this match for them. If they get knocked down, it'll be rough.
They've had solid form over the last couple of weeks. They've obviously qualified. They proved it wasn't a fluke, and they went on and beat Team Liquid again in the Overwatch Open. So they are certainly setting themselves as the #4 team in America right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, too, as far as their hero picks, because I know Hardblue is one of the guys that plays a really good Roadhog. Like an insanely good Roadhog. And even though it's kind of fallen out of the meta, I mean, if somebody's that good at a hero, it's kind of like when you play solo queue and then someone picks like Mercy and you're like, hey man, that's not in the meta, but they're like, no, but I'm like an insane Mercy. You kind of just got to let them do what they do. And I would love to see him play Roadhog and kind of, you know, show that it can still be used. I'm all about those wonky picks.
I love the excitement. Every time Roadhog has been seen today, as I think we had him like 2 games or something. There was instant someone like, oh yes, Roadhog, that's great, that's awesome. So yeah, might see that again. But before that, of course, we once more going to take a look at the other team. Who are they facing off against? It's a team Reunited. So let's check them out.
So they say a lot is in a name, and the name Reunited represents a reunion of friends and teammates who've already achieved glory in previous esports titles in the past. Cruz was the new, fresh player added to this roster. The fiery Brit tends to give this team a little bit more muscle, even on the Lucio role. And then they added Kib later on, who was the first player in the scene that we know of that was scouted to a top team from the top of the Overwatch leaderboards. The guy hasn't missed a beat since joining the team, and he probably boasts one of the most fearsome Genjis in Europe. Veteran Valitaja wields McCree's Peacemaker like a surgeon's knife, and the dependable duo of Mort and Winghaven always tend to set him up to do whatever he wants on the battlefield. Previously ruling the skies as Farah, you'll still see Unfixed filling whatever role the team requires on the flex position.
And indeed, it seems to be the case. 3-0. It definitely wasn't. It was a lot closer than it showed on the scoreboard. But Reunited hold. That's GG. We'll see you at Gamescom.
And Reunited know what it's like to taste esports glory. That's exactly why they've returned here to Gamescom.
And that is Reunited. They're going to face off against compLexity. Reunited bringing a lot of experience to the table as well. They have been around ever since Overwatch has been out there. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. It's hopefully going to be a close match. I don't think any of us thinks that's going to be a very one-sided thing. Is that correct?
I don't know. I'm favoring Reunited pretty heavily in this one. It's interesting, obviously, hearing Mitch talking about Kib there. It's something the team have been very vocal in. Obviously, Too Easy used to be in this team. They were a team for a very long time, and they replaced him. It was a big thing. It was like, whoa, okay. This is a team that's been together for years, and they've suddenly replaced Too Easy, who used to be the DPS man. Kib's come in, and everybody has backed Kib. He's been, everybody seems to be loving him. I don't know whether it's because of the whole Too Easy thing. There's a whole Reunited team separation thing going on. But Kib has come in, and he has been absolutely brilliant for them. They said it themselves. A lot of the questions, obviously, we had a little questionnaire with them. Everybody's saying Kib is one of the most important players on this team right now. He can be vital for them. And I would say, obviously, coming into this one, we saw how good Dignitas were on a King of the Hill map. Obviously, they've gone out, but they really took it to Envious. Reunited beat Dignitas fairly simply on King of the Hill. So if I was compLexity, I would not go a King of the Hill map.
Yeah, absolutely. compLexity, if they have a choice, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually go to Gibraltar. We've seen Roadhog just do so well on Gibraltar, and Harblu, of course, one of the best Roadhogs in North America and frankly in the world.
Yeah.
But Reunited, you talk about a team with history in esports. It's not just their history, their Battlefield accolades here at events like Gamescom, but Valataja, we know him under a different name.
Reload,
used to go by Reload as one of the more legendary championship-winning enemy territory players back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about, hey, they're an ex-team. They're formerly known as Fnatic. They were on the Fnatic brand, and then Fnatic were like, okay, they split away from Fnatic, whatever reasons, I don't know. Drunks also used to be on the team, who's actually the manager of Fnatic now. But they've looked solid coming into this. We obviously talked Misfits up. Reunited is the team that everybody kind of had as their second place in the final.
I think this is actually going to be a lot closer than what you guys think it's going to be. I just see it as the 4 top EU teams, they're always trading back and forth as history's gone through just Overwatch in general. And then in NA, we have more of this clear pecking order. You know, it's always NVS, and it's always Cloud9, and it's always TSM, or compLexity now. I just think because they have more experience in the recent Overwatch era, as far as playing at live events, they're going to show up and they're going to do really well. So I think it's going to be close. I'm not going to say who's going to win, because it's going to be a tough match.
All right. Now, you guys said Watchpoint Gibraltar might definitely be the first map to be picked. Going on King's Row, though, which team feels more comfortable on that one?
Reunited, although they have had losses on here. They lost to Melty on it. They got held up pretty badly, but they beat Dignitas on it pretty easily in regionals. Personally, I think we're going to see Hanamura as the second map if that would be fun. If Reunited get the win, and we're going to see compLexity pull out Hanamura.
All right. Well, let's see. First, of course, we once more going to have a quick chat with the players, or rather, the lovely Rachel is going to have a quick chat with the players.
Hey, I include you guys in that too. I got some nice questions from the analyst desk that I want to ask them. But first up, let me bring them out. Our first team, compLexity. All right, Harblu. We have some questions, and this one does come straight from the analyst desk. Are we going to see Roadhog today?
Hopefully. Depending on the map draw and what map we get to, he's better on some maps than others, but I'll try and bust them out if I can.
Well, that's nice. I'm sure the fans at home are going to be happy to see that one. But as a player with an extensive background in competitive gaming, I'm sure you know that you cannot pick things just to please the crowd. You have to pick things strategy-wise. So tell me, how much time has compLexity been putting into the strategies for this event?
I mean, this has been like the event that we've been practicing for. We've been putting in 6 to 8 hours a day, every day, with pretty much no breaks, trying to come up with the best comps possible, reviewing other teams, going over our own things. We've been putting a lot of effort into this so we can hopefully win.
That does sound like a lot of effort, but unlike some of the teams, you guys actually didn't get together to boot camp before this. Are you still feeling pretty confident, pretty comfortable in the preparation you did?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we wish we could have had a boot camp for it, but our online practice was still really good against Envious and some of the other teams, so we are definitely confident going into this event.
Yeah, and unlike some of the other teams at this event, you have had probably one of the most consistent rosters in competitive Overwatch since the beta your team has been together. So tell me, what goes into keeping a team together, keeping everyone happy, and feeling like you're all playing at your best throughout this long period?
So I think the big thing for us personally is that we're all actually good friends outside of the game. So even when we're not playing together, we normally hang out in TeamSpeak and that sort of thing. So the fact that we're all good friends, we're able to take criticism and things like that really well. So if someone calls someone else out, we understand that it's not just for the sake of calling them out, it's to try and improve as a team. So it's mostly, I think, the fact that we're such good friends that we've been able to keep the same roster.
Well, friendship is magic, and as Fishstick said, at Agents Rising, the first North American LAN, you guys claimed third, excuse me. So how are you going to take first here this weekend? What's changed? I
mean, our team has improved so much since then, since the Agents Rising LAN. I think that was 2 or 3 months ago. At that time, we had never really beaten a top team even. Since that time, we've beaten Cloud9, I think 4 times. We've beaten pretty much every top team besides Envious. So we've just proven ourselves a lot more since then, and we're pretty much confident against any team here.
All right, well, we will see how this goes for compLexity. Thank you so much, Harblue. You and the boys can take a seat. And I'm going to bring out your opponents. Please welcome to the stage, Reunited. To the stage, the team behind them gets a little closer and closer. So you know what? Reunited has really got your back. Your team is a special case because this is a player-owned and managed organization. So, Mort, tell me a little bit about what that means for your team.
Well, it means I think that we're way more motivated to stay with the team, so the long-term goals are more aligned, and I think it makes us want to stay together as a team. So, yeah. That's basically it.
Well, that's one reason to stay together. The other reason to stay together is that when you guys get together, you are a powerhouse. So talk to me a little bit about how this team was assembled and how you guys work so well together.
Yeah, so I met some of the players 6 years ago. So the core has been playing together for 5-6 years now. And we are only added Cruz and Kip over the last few months. And basically, we've been winning everything since. So.
Well, as an organization that not only has in charge of your own practice and your own success on the field, but your own success as a business, do you find that you have to make any sacrifices as a player-owned team that maybe these other teams don't make?
No, it's more we still have the management behind the team, so we just play, and everything behind the scenes is taken care of.
Well, you guys manage yourselves quite well. You've been boot camping since the 15th, I understand. So what did you guys work on in the boot camp that you weren't able to work on separately from home?
Well, it was really nice because Fnatic was also in Europe boot camping, so we actually got to see a lot of NA play here. And being close together is just easier for tactics and just talking everything through.
Well, we did see on your Twitter, Mort, that this is your sixth Gamescom and your sixth trophy you're predicting?
Hope so.
All right, we shall see. Well, Mort and the boys, you guys can take your seats. Thank you so much for the short interview. I'm going to give it to the analyst desk.
Now, I'm really going to say that compLexity seemed, at least in the interview, a little bit more confident. He seemed to really have faith in his team. He did say they improved massively over the last few months. Did you guys see that improvement as well?
I saw the confidence, and that's I think that's North America versus Europeans.
That's just Americans in it.
That's just Americans.
We're just
okay.
we can do anything. It's possible. It's a dream.
Yeah, but that should be the spirit. That's kind of the mindset you have to have when you are performing on stage. You can't come in and go I don't know.
Well, Europeans tend to be a little more neutral in their interviews and just secretly thinking we're going to smash these guys.
It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
But still some very interesting insights we got from that interview. Let's see how they're going to be after we've seen the series. It's the first one of Group B. You guys already make your predictions once more. Hug thinks that compLexity does stand a fair chance. However, we have two guys who do think that it's going to be not a one-sided match per se.
I think 2-0.
I'm in the middle. I'll go in the middle.
Well, let's go with very one-sided and
Reunited 2-0, no problem, I think.
No problem.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a 2-1.
I'm going to so call you out.
I'm sure we probably will be, but I know they've been practicing Fnatic loads. Fnatic look great. And from what I could tell, Fnatic were learning a lot from Reunited, so it tells me Reunited are in good shape right now.
Okay, you give them a 2-1.
Yeah,
very kind of you.
I think it's going to be 2-1. Yeah, like they said, they've beaten teams like Cloud9 numerous times. It's been a little bit of time since they've beaten Cloud9 or a team like that in a major tournament or a qualifier. So they haven't had that performance as of in the last couple of weeks. But of course, they have been practicing a lot and they have that background.
Yeah, I will say one negative thing for Reunited is they are really slow to adapt in-game. If things are not going their way, they don't seem to adapt quick enough to thinking, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this. They are really slow at that. So that's the one thing that could catch them out if we do see something strange coming out of compLexity, which is totally possible. They've scrimmed Envious a fair few times.
Yeah,
so,
I was just about to
bad.
ask. Does compLexity need kind of wonky plays, kind of creative plays, or do you think they can totally beat them if they just go safe strats, safe, solid stuff?
I think safe. But safe for compLexity, meta-wise, might be very different compared to Reunited, because just NA versus EU, they don't play each other a lot. Hard to say, but I think they'll not do anything too crazy. The only weird thing would be the Hanamaru pick, I think. That would be kind of the back pocket.
I mean, the only reason I'm saying is they both played it a number of times in regional finals, so they were picking it. They picked it against Envious.
We're going to give you the credit for it. Don't you worry about a thing. Like, if they pick it, it's like, they even called it.
Well, they've got...
Well, I get the credit if they go Gibraltar, right?
Yeah, right. It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to get credit for something too?
I already called the big upset of the day. I don't
You
need
already
anything
called
more.
the finalists.
Yeah,
You're like way ahead of everyone.
I'll be pretty shocked. I mean, Volskaya is in there as well. We haven't seen that.
I would love to see Volskaya. What do you guys think makes this so unpopular being picked at tournaments?
It's just not being in map pools that often, that's all.
Is that just a matter of
it's just
practice?
not being in there much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, nobody liked any of the 2 capture point maps until the time bank addition came through. On a personal level, I think maps like Anubis are super fun, super exciting.
Yeah.
I had the chance to cast just last weekend.
It was brilliant.
An incredible match on Anubis, so I wouldn't be sad. In fact, I'd really like to see some capture point.
The Energy Splice game, they were both similar. What happened was they held the first point for, 4 minutes in the Energy Splice game, 5 minutes in your game. It was incredible because, well, you've all played Temple of Anubis. Nobody holds that first point for 5 minutes.
Now, actually, in the interview, Harblue, when Rachel asked him, like, are we going to see Roadhog? He laughed and said, I hope so. What do you guys think it's coming down to? Like, when would they actually pick him?
I think it's 100% if this goes the length. I mean, if this goes to 3 maps, they're going to have the choice to go wherever they want. They're going to go somewhere where Harblue can excel in that role.
We could see it on Kings Row right at the start on their attack because it's one of those heroes. You get a pick, you manage to pull someone out, one of those damage dealers. You're almost certainly going to cap that point there. Kings Row is especially hard to defend because it's such a long run back from respawn, so getting a single pick, it can be vital on that map. Okay,
and if we're looking at the players of each team, who to look out for, who do you guys predict are making the big plays? Who are going to be the key players?
Well, the TJO brothers over on the compLexity side of things, they've always impressed. You know, they've got great hit scan aim.
Yeah.
Also, Nicholas was an incredible Pharaoh when Pharaoh was really hot in the meta. Not so much these days, but obviously we're going to be watching for Harblue to see if he does go with that Roadhog pick. He will hit every other hook at least, and he throws them as soon as it's on cooldown every time. So definitely those players to watch on the compLexity side. And you know, we talked about history. I forgot to mention that the TGO brothers, they were COD 4 champions in their own time as well. So they're champions as well. We have a whole bunch of them.
2008, I think it was. Yeah. Long time ago.
That is a long time. I feel old now.
Scary.
Thank you so much, Steven.
WCG 2008.
Yeah, that's what we
First event we did together.
Oh,
this
brings
is beautiful.
back memories.
Here in Cologne as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
But for me, Valetaja and Kib's been a breath of fresh air coming in. It used to be so reliant on Valetaja, on the McCree to do stuff. Kib coming in, his Genji's absolutely awesome. So I'm expecting to see some pretty big things from him.
All right. Who are you looking out for?
Everybody they named. They didn't leave anybody out. I think Genji's really hot right now, so I would love to see some big plays.
So hot.
Yeah.
So hot.
Unfixed is a player that on the Reunited squad that people don't talk about too much, but he's always a wild card. He can really go off at any time.
Okay, so it looks like the players are about to be ready, and so are we. I'm so excited to see what the guys are coming up with in-game as we are heading into Kings Road. So I hope you guys are ready as we are heading over to our casters.
Thank you for that, Zoe. And just like the team name, we are reunited once again. Last time we met was at PAX. We got to cast together, but it's nice to be here again with you, Stir.
I have had a heavy heart every day that I haven't gotten to see you. But it's great that we're back here again, and especially with a really awesome match I'm looking forward to. I've wanted to see compLexity play since we got here. They did really well in the qualifiers. I didn't even think they would qualify, but they actually beat Team Liquid, really good team, in order to get here. And here they are.
Yeah, it seems to be El Clasico between those two teams, between Team Liquid and compLexity, always seeming to go head-to-head when it counts. But now we're going on to Kings Roaster. So let's talk a little bit about the map in general, why we have some time here. Reunited, do we expect to see something crazy out of them? Do we expect some hotel control?
I think we might actually be seeing something crazy right now if Kib actually stays on Bastion, but usually people are just messing with us. Kings Row is usually pretty standard. It's a lot of Reinhardt play, and I think it really does come down to the Reinhardts, and people usually won't give them credit, but those Earth Shatters and defending your team is the biggest role here.
Okay, and well, we have Kib as well. It's been talked about on the desk quite a bit, but it's so important that we actually keep an eye on this man because he's the first guy to ever be picked up from the competitive ladder to be joining a professional team. That says a lot about their confidence in him.
Absolutely, it's really cool to see teams picking up players and finding them that way. So many teams have found players just because they ran into them in ranked games and thought they did well, add them to their friends. It's been a long time coming. A lot of pro players already knew each other, but just finding new people in Overwatch it's actually one of the easiest times I've ever had in a game. game is to meet new people.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Reunited on the attack, and Kib's going to be sporting his Hanzo here that we've seen quite a few times, even using it to scout out that hotel towards the left side to get some information. And you can already see them actually backing away. But Kib gets torqued actually off to the side, gets someone who gets a little bit too aggressive. That's an initial kill that they were looking for. And another. He gets 2. JKW is going to fall unfixed on the Roadhog, trying to provide some cover towards the left-hand side. But will Kib get a 3rd?
This is actually the first time today we've even seen someone try to really play Hanzo. Usually people use the sonar arrow at the beginning to just get a scout, but he's actually walked forward with it, has done really, really well. Got 2 picks, that's all they needed, and they just walk away and take this point really easily without really any contention.
Yeah, and that's been the question we've had for Kib, and this player in particular. Can he play other things besides Genji? And we're starting to see he can play some Hanzo, he's played some Reaper in the past, and he made quick work at this initial capture. You can see him and Valataja paired up together to be very aggressive here on this death alleyway. And now compLexity, they've had a chance to build up some more percent. You can see Shake about to have that Transcendence available. And Reunited, unfortunately, besides Kib, have had no opportunity to really build up too much ult just yet. But the fight's going to break out momentarily. You can see Valataja gets the flashbang over that shield, and they're quickly going to back away. Because look at that. That's going to be an overextended hard blue. Came in from the top side. Valataja and Reunited both pick up a kill apiece. And that charge did come through to separate that Zenyatta from the rest of the team.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Shake popped his ultimate on Zenyatta extremely early in that fight. That was the one thing that they had that could actually help them stabilize here. And there wasn't too much going on. They didn't have a really good fight there at all at any point.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're seeing Envious say Reunited is probably their biggest fear in this entire tournament, the biggest team they're looking out for. This is a team who's played so many times on this stage right here, back in Battlefield 4, back in previous games, and they sure as hell want to secure another title under their belt. But they have a lot of teams to go through with compLexity, looking to finally put up a good defense. And Kib, he's still sticking on his Hanzo here.
Kib is just trying to lay down this dragon, make sure nobody can get forward. They have to get this point right here. Getting this checkpoint is extremely crucial. So we have Kib being as aggressive as he can on the Hanzo, doing as much damage as he can. Not too many people being able to even walk forward into this team. They're just so dominant. The Hanzo's putting out so much damage that they don't want to even walk forward to contest. That was masterfully done.
That was an insane time. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into this first half, and Reunited are already knocking on that door to the final push. And there's actually Kib on the high ground again, just trying to snipe away the best he can. Mort's going to have the Transcendence available in this next fight. If we do see compLexity finally put up a defense, and it's all on hard blue, that grab at the surge. It's going to be coming through. It's going to be countered by the Transcendence, as you can see, and they're not able to focus down anyone. And Kib towards the high ground is able to get some decent damage in. JKW is going to be the first meta falls. Unfixed able to secure that one to his belt, and Kib's still not being dealt with. He's not being actually contested at all.
There's no one who can go up there to fight Kib. There's not a single character on the team. There's not a Genji. There's not a Pharah. There's no one who can even get up there to even stop him. He's almost at another ult charge. He's going to be firing at one of the gates in a second where people are trying to come out of. Not even able to get out here. Unfixed coming forward with the ultimate, locking them down, and that's just it. They weren't even able to get next to
Nicholas, you had your raid form, you had the ability to walk there, and yet they walked all over them, and the hands down fastest time we've seen in the entirety of today. 3 minutes and 1 second is what Reunited put up on the initial attack.
That is absolutely absurd, and starting this off saying I was excited to see compLexity play. Oh, you guys let me down a little bit. I hope you can make this look fair. You're probably not going to beat 3 minutes. I would be shocked to see a team even do what we just saw right now, but it's possible. Make me proud. Do your best.
So let me ask you from this, because I tried to ask Huck this earlier on the desk. I just didn't have the time to. If you're attacking second, and you know the time to beat is now 3 minutes and 1 second, how does that mentally affect you going into your attacking half?
I think usually that will amp up teams quite a bit. I think it actually has that good effect on you where you know you have to do better. So many times you see people set these impossible times and the other team just fires right back. Yeah. I don't think it's unreasonable to see a good match here, but it's so much to live up to after Kib just had them shaking in their boots.
And the question is this Hanzo just that good, or is it just the fact that they didn't feel pressure by compLexity and he didn't need to switch off it?
I don't think he felt any pressure ever. He had his tank line in front of him. He just was able to stand behind the Reinhardt, put out consistent damage. Everyone, I think, you get that fear in your heart that you know Hanzo can one-shot you. You don't want to risk getting one shot by him, so you stand back. And they just were able to push forward throughout the entirety of that whole match.
Not to mention the opening kill he got over onto Torque, as he got really aggressive on the McCree because they wanted to push forward. Gets a clean headshot onto him, and just like that, Reunited, they attacked and they swarmed all over that point. But now we need to see compLexity do that. There is a chance for them to finish off the entire map if they do fail the first attack, but if they fail 2 in a row, you can pretty much just draw the curtains down on them on this first match.
Yeah, and we're seeing them get ready at the gate. Definitely a lot of pressure rides on Lucio here because you need to do this quickly. The speed boosts are going to be key coming out here from compLexity. They need to really be going now, not any delay. Nice stun on the Reaper, but being saved by the Zarya. Not able to set up anything yet. He's already taken down. This is already a failed push, and that might even be just enough to make this not work out.
Well, you got to have hopes for compLexity, even though if they are unsuccessful and actually capture this first point, but they did pick up quite a few kills, so there is a chance on the respawn for them to have a man advantage. It just comes down to how quickly Joe Meister's going to get there in time and how quickly they force that attack. And you saw Kib just sitting inside the statue waiting for his moment to shine. The flashbang came through, but it didn't matter because Unfix was on point with that shield ready to go. And you can see him even absorbing that fire strike. Just get a little bit more energy, build up that ult% a little bit quicker, and try to close out this first map.
These respawns took a little bit too long. Things are about even again. We have Kib taking down Joe Meister, and it looks like he is just going crazy. Winghaven with the double kill on Reinhardt, and still just so perfectly holding this. This is way more one-sided than I could have ever expected.
And now we're a minute into this half already. There's 2 minutes left to go for the side of compLexity, and now Reunited, they have Earthshatter, they have Deathloss, and they're gonna have Deadeye momentarily, and Kib's in the perfect position to completely shut down compLexity's attack, but they're running a Winston this time, so they want to get really aggressive.
They don't have the time to think about that someone might be behind them. He already gets stunned, he gets taken down, but I think he did a ton of damage, was worth it. Unfixed here, throwing down the Graviton Surge, coming behind everybody, dealing high damage, 85% charge, cleans everybody up. Reinhardt comes through, finishes him off, and that is definitely it. There is no way they're going to be beating this in 3 minutes.
And you saw Unfixed there too. With the Graviton Surge being used, he flanks around the back, behind the Reinhardt, behind JKW, and what does he do? Does he right-click? No. He tries to focus down Torque immediately to completely dismantle that Deadeye, to not even have a chance for attack. But compLexity, they're going to give it one more go, and most certainly after that, GG's will be called. But Harblue wants to pop that Promer Rage, wants to look for a killer, so even the Transcendence Muse out of Shake, but the Earthshatter comes in out of Winghaven, and it connects really well. The problem is, they're not able to burst anyone down through the Transcendence. Torque is finally able to take Cruz down, and Harblue's able to keep Winghaven into the corner, but no one keeps him in the corner for long, is eventually able to be taken down, not able to fight his way out from this one, but the time's just taken away. As long as Reunited just keep buying seconds upon seconds, compLexity will have lost this first map. Oh, and Kib put the nail in the coffin.
He had no business getting that many kills there. compLexity finally had a chance to feel good about themselves, and that's so important here, that even if they know they lost, they can say at the end, we were able to take the point. At least we were able to do it eventually, but Kib is just uncontested.
So, sir,
kissing a bus. Kissing a bus.
I think everyone out there thought Envious were going to give us our most one-sided games of the day, but no, I think Reunited just hands down gave it to us right there. That was insane play out of them. They hold the first point, they finish in 3 minutes and 1 second on the attacking side, and on compLexity, I mean, they have a couple minutes to breathe, a couple minutes to talk things over, but you look at that, what potential mistake could you have fixed from now till the next match?
They have a lot of... I think you just have to pick yourself back up again and try your best, because I know compLexity isn't that bad of a team.
Yeah.
They should be able to figure this out. When they're choosing the map, they're going to be able to do a strategy that they're more comfortable with, something that they're used to, and I think they can work this out, and that win will propel them back into a good state of mind here.
And the thing is, like you said, compLexity's not a bad team. This is a team who's beaten Cloud9 many times. This is a team who can challenge out the best of the North America teams. Do you think it's the NA versus EU metas that kind of caught them off guard there?
I think really the Hanzo caught him off guard. I don't know about the first point defense. That was pretty unfortunate, but the Hanzo, they certainly weren't ready for a Hanzo.
Kib just looking like, yeah, another day at the office for me here.
So what?
Yeah.
So what?
In the meantime, though, let's head over to Zoe so they can break down that first map with any way they can.
Try our best. Now, yeah, Huck was already shaking his head, like, oh, well, you predicted the other games, right? So I think you can get that one. It's
Even
it's
it
okay.
out. Yeah, I mean, it's not
I
over
think you're
yet.
still over the top. You're still kind of on top.
Okay, good.
Definitely. For me, anyway.
The fat lady hasn't sung.
Yeah.
That was
No.
one thing, but that was
Damn it.
brutal.
I missed my
Yeah.
chance. I missed my chance to talk about Hanzo, because Reunited and Rogue both have used it a number of times on King's Row, and I totally forgot about it. And now I missed my chance to look great.
Do you think that
D-Man,
Hanzo
we believe
really...
you.
I still believe.
We believe you.
And now I've got the second thing
do
right
you
as
guys
well.
think that compLexity didn't kind of expect a Hanzo at least? Because you did say that Reunited have played him before. We have seen him today already as well. So it's not like that will be like the uber mega upset pick per se.
I don't know. They're going to have to do something special. That's, no matter who you are, losing in 3 minutes, 3 seconds on King's
Is that a
Row
record?
is pretty
I'm
embarrassing.
wondering.
That's
Or
got to
it's
be
close.
close.
Yeah,
In
it's
a
gonna
pro
be close.
game, absolutely. On a stage like this, 100%.
I mean,
but it is the first map, and we've got the next map already decided.
All right.
And I'm feeling a little bit good about this one because we are headed to Watchpoint Gibraltar, where we actually got a chance to watch this team, compLexity, play on this map last week in the Overwatch Open qualifier. And again, it all comes down to Harblu. If he's going to be able to hit the hooks like we all know he can, compLexity still have a chance. But man, what a whopping. I could have never expected anything like that, and no one would have even predicted that. And I just wonder what happened. I mean, compLexity is not a bad team. How did they just disintegrate like that? I have a hard time.
They looked like a bad team.
Yeah.
That looked horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those awkward moments because obviously using the Hanzo, they got a couple of picks on the defense. Immediately, you're in a 4v6 position. You're not going to hold that point. And then obviously we saw Reunited go aggressive in the streets. And the problem with the street battle, if you go aggressive against aggressive and you lose out against the attacking team, you're going to lose that entire street section, where you can gain so much time. What I will say about Watchpoint Gibraltar coming up, Harblu was made famous for here, but that was in the previous version, obviously, when their defense was down the bottom and he was landing hook after hook, and it worked very well. I'm not so sure it's going to work out so well against Reunited. It's going to be a tricky defensive hold.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely showed that it's not going to be easy to win against them. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. That was quite a time. We of course hope that the second game is going to get a little bit closer. Watchpoint Gibraltar is the map we're going to heading to, just as a certain someone here on the panel predicted. And for all the action, we once more going to head over to our casters.
Thank you for that, Zoe. And I know both of us and everyone out there are hoping for a really good match on Watchpoint Gibraltar between these two teams. We don't want to see a 2-0 here. These are the top 8 teams in the world. Yeah. We want to see the best matches we possibly can have. And Gibraltar, we should talk about this map a little bit here, Stir.
Just like Ben was saying a second ago, we did see Harblu recently go very crazy on this map in order to qualify. You have to know that going in, though, that Harblu is someone that they're relying on a lot to hit those hooks. You know that they're going to have a Roadhog. You just need to have your Zenyatta play a little bit carefully, put the discords on him, clear him out, and you should be fine after that. Gibraltar, though, is, I'd say, a pretty common map. Players enjoy this one.
It's definitely the longest one, and it's definitely the most diverse, I'd say, when you come into that hangar phase. The only thing I'm worried about here for compLexity, and I'm not sure if they did their homework on this, Reunited beat NIP in the Overwatch Open qualifiers in 2 minutes and 55 seconds on attack. On Gibraltar, on the longest map, they won in one of the quickest times we've ever seen in competitive history.
I wouldn't know if you put 3 people in the cart uncontested that you could even do this map in that amount of time. So to beat NIP, which is a pretty good team too, up and coming as well, that is phenomenal. compLexity has it cut out for them, and they're going to be starting off on defense here. They do have Harblu on that Roadhog. He should be feeling pretty confident. He's going to need to feel confident in order to take some people out here.
Now, on defense, though, so would you like to see him on defense or more on offense to make the plays happen with those hooks?
He was able to make the Roadhog work on defense in a pretty interesting way. They do like to hold the server room a little bit and get those hooks. It worked out in a way that, I don't know, a lot of people have given up faith on Roadhog, but I'm a believer. Let's just leave it like that.
Yeah, well, we're seeing actually both teams currently sitting on a couple of questionable heroes. It looks like we'll be kick this one off. So we have a soldier out of Harblu. Not going to see the Roadhog, it seems. Apparently, actually, no, it looks like we will be going back to lobby. Both teams are saying they're not ready. It looks like there's a couple of sound issues, so we can't take what they've actually picked as reality. They're not going to probably see the soldier out of Harblu. That Roadhog was looking mighty fine for him. Kib, though, we will probably see on Genji, and I was saying to you before, you know, you look at his Hanzo, and he's damn good, but his Genji's even better.
Yeah, so unfortunately a couple technical issues there. Hopefully compLexity isn't just nervous and mess something up and, you know, spilled some water on their computer. We should be back there in just a second checking out that map. Again, excited to get it started off. There's a lot of interesting holds you can do on Gibraltar. It's nowhere really safe to stand as the defender, so it's questionable what you could do. You're asking about Roadhog. What would you like to see from...
Well, you said something, I believe. Yeah, it was you on the desk in a break that we had.
Yeah.
May. You wall off the front entrance of server room, you were saying, and then you can just push the payload free. Like, there's nothing they can do to stop it, really.
I've never seen anyone do it. I've done it in a couple of ranked games. No one expects the wall there. They're just like, oh, wait, and you push the cart for free, and by the time the wall's down, no one is ready. But you have to know that the team is holding in that server room, and it's been a kind of scattered defense. Every team kind of has their own touch on Gibraltar.
And I guess that's the advantage of attacking on the side. You do have the opportunity to switch if you do need to. And at the same rate, with Reunited already pretty much putting down a landslide on the first map, there's no need for them at all to show anything too crazy. They don't need to show anything special, like we saw the Anna before, the Dig versus Misfits game. But you are finding into the game, guys. Reunited's still going to be on the attack. Farah, there is potential to see it, though I'm not going to expect it.
Again, I would love to see more Ana. We saw Ana earlier on this map, and I think it's really good, but a lot of players haven't really found that. Everyone, of course, really still sticking to Zenyatta, who's quite powerful at the moment. People assembling heroes. We do have that Farah that I know it's not going to happen. Deep down in my soul, I'd love to see it, though.
I love the whole Farah Mercy combo, the whole Farah Mercy meta back in the day, because it was so cool to see the fight happen on different levels of altitude. There was one of the fight on the ground, and there was the 2v2 fight in the air. And whoever won the 2v2 fight in the air typically would win out on the entirety of that fight. But maybe they'll stick to it in the beginning, maybe they'll switch it off. I'm assuming Unfix will be going Zarya to pair in with the Winston, so you can send Winston in, obviously shield him up. compLexity, though, at the rate, they're not going for a hold in the server room. So they're playing a little bit differently.
That's what I've been saying. It's usually pretty hard to predict now what a team's going to do on defense on Gibraltar. Particular teams like to do their certain things. We do still have Harblue on that Roadhog, of course, but they're a little bit spread out. They got people up on the high ground. It's usually really powerful to have that McCree where we see him up right now. You put a Wood up there back in the day, 76, when people were playing him quite a bit more. That McCree holding that spot can single-handedly hold the defense for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Reunited back on the attack here for a second time. Find out if they can take a relatively fast pace on the second map, or will we see potentially a third here? Comes down to this man on your screen, Harblue. He needs to hit these hooks to allow compLexity to have a good chance. And not to mention, Nicholas is playing Tracer, so a decent counter to Kib on the Genji.
Yeah, they have a very mobile defense. They have a Tracer, they have a Winston who can usually work together to fight a Discord at target, jump on them, get out, and do very well there. Kib up top, they're already poking, trying to attack a little bit. The cart just going underneath the little car wash there, as the devs used to call it. Not too much fighting going on so far. Someone's gonna have to stop this Reaper on the cart eventually, but usually the fighting doesn't happen until it makes it around this bend here. This high ground for the defenders is what they want to be holding on to.
Yeah, it looks like we do have JKW trying to get control of that high ground. He's immediately being pushed off here, and Kib towards the side. He's looking for the dashes. He's looking for some resets, but no kills coming in just yet. But Reunited are keeping his payload moving with one man on top of it. There's Volatile and Morph both chiming in. Kib's finally able to secure one. And just like that, compLexity's defense is going to be Swiss cheese as they cut through it.
Yeah, absolutely. They just push the cart right up. Completely successful. And are we going to see the same thing we just saw in Kings Row?
We could. I mean, we definitely could. I mean, they didn't have 3 people on the payload the entire time, but they had quick work of that first checkpoint. But I want to point out something to Flame, who's an ex-player for Splice. He actually did a breakdown of compLexity versus Team Liquid, and compLexity are using basically the same composition. They have to have an aggressive defense, but we didn't see them do that. They actually were aggressive on themselves, and that comp that they ran is not going to favor too well against us. And Kib, wow, he's going super deep here, able to get away with the help of the reflect, and that payload, it's just not being stopped.
Kib is just getting to harass them for free right now. They're up on the high ground, which is where they need to be, but this Dragon Blade is going to scatter everybody in just a moment. Finding a kill on Joe Meister, important kill there. Has his sword ready, trying to find a hit on that man in the corner. One more person goes down, Discord on him, didn't even get a chance to hurt him, and they just push the cart again right to the next checkpoint.
We're 2 minutes in here, Star. Could we see another 255, or will we see sub 3 potentially if they're not stopped at the end?
I will faint. I don't want to see this. Harblue, of course, an old school TF2 player. I have to root for the TF2 guys, even though I'm not playing it myself anymore. You still have that blood running in everybody, but he's just kind of getting walked on right now. Kib is definitely impressing.
I mean, they have like the comp to deal with it for the most part. They have Harblue there to chase him down. They have Torque there as well. It's just they're not seeming to grasp what they need to do defensively. But they're finally going to go for the engage here. Kib off the side towards the high ground, and Volatile in the perfect position to make this Deadeye work. He's got 4 people in his sights, but those shields are going to be able to protect him. He takes down Joe Meister. That's going to be the Lucio now gone, and he's looking to back away, but he's got a Winston in his face. Harblue just can't chase him down quick enough. Finally, he's able to get the kill, but will it be enough? As it looks like the rest of his team was able to chime in. Kib's able to turn around on a JKW, but I think JKW's by himself. He's just waiting for that jump, that leap, reset to come back in, and he will eventually fall to Kib. And Reunited, they're still pushing.
This is just ongoing slaughter. This is unfortunate. I think compLexity recently did have some really good games on Gibraltar, so they felt confident, but at the same time, a lot of people saw those games.
Yeah.
So they're not surprised at anything that's happening right now. Kib is taking full advantage of him, constantly dancing around the high ground. I feel like they're scared of him coming in.
Kib hasn't died yet. He's playing this so smart. He goes in when he knows he can pick up the kills. He's going to get flashbanged up here with the help of the sound barrier coming out of Cruz. He's able to stay alive. Not to mention the Earth Shredder coming through. Unfix Balu. Both chime in and pick up kills. And even Winghaven gets the charge on a Joe Meister. And that just might be it here. Reunited going to finish with a sub 4-minute time.
Nobody died on Reunited. You're talking about Kib not dying. Every person survived that fight. That was a flawless showing in a 3-minute 39 time on Gibraltar. It wasn't a fluke beating NIP. This is something they're consistently doing now.
This is a time that's like amazing for maps like Nambani, Kings Row. This is a time that you would be so happy with, but on Gibraltar, the longest map is insane. And you have to give credit to Reunited and their prep coming into this, because even back in the Battlefield 4 days, they would look all right during the season, but when it came down to land, it came down to business and to winning the prize, they would always pull through. And we're seeing a completely different team than what we saw just in a few weeks.
That's a very good point, that they definitely have the LAN experience. We heard the interviews earlier that this is his, what was it, 8th Gamescom?
Sixth. That's still
I'm just giving him a couple extras because he's earning it right now. So they've done this before. They're very used to playing with each other. From the old Battlefield days, of course, moving into Overwatch.
The thing is, they talked about on the desk, this is a team of like 3-4 people with Winghaven, Unfix, Smort, and Valataja that's played so many different games together. I can't even count the total. I mean, you got Firefall in there, like we said, Battlefield 4, you got Enemy Territory. It's just a shame that they didn't have their other player Too Easy, which is what the whole team was about, Reunited, because Winghaven didn't play for them during Battlefield. They kind of kicked him off for Drunks, who's now the manager of Fnatic. But nonetheless, they're still putting on a stellar performance. And off the back of this man, Kib, who we really kind of question, can he pull off the plays he did on LAN? And that's difficult to do.
He's definitely doing it right now, and that's, again, a really cool thing to see. Kib coming from just finding him on the ranked leaderboards and putting him on the team. I think a lot of early teams like NRG right now came over with a lot of TF2 pros that felt very confident together. They had an existing formula, and it didn't plan out. It didn't work that way, but we're finding new players in Overwatch that are excelling in the top of the scene.
Yep, and we're going to find out if compLexity can kind of fight their way back here, where they have a giant job ahead of them here. 3 minutes and 39 seconds. That is not easy at all. But compLexity on the back of Torque and Nicholas, the two brothers, Genji and Tracer, can they make the picks happen? Harbu's looking for some hooks as well, but Kib just able to dash around that one with that double jump. And Harbu's already gotten the high ground control. So at least have this, yes. But Reunited, they're not looking for a fight pre-underpass.
Oh, that's an unfortunate hook right there, and they just walk forward and completely capitalize on that. One missed hook that could have gone in the favor of compLexity, but it got turned around so quickly they're going to have to wait to repush this here. It's going to be really hard to do it without their tank getting the pick at the beginning. I mean, that's Roadhog's job to get the pick, not die first.
And you see Kib just being so comfortable on Genji, dashing in for the kill, dashing out immediately to get away. Torque, though, has a lot ahead of him here if he wants to be able to kind of compete at this level. He does take down Valataja, so that's a good start here, but Kib's quickly able to turn that around back onto him, even able to reflect onto Nicholas, and Unfix is there to help out with Joe Meister falling. The Tracer out of Nicholas isn't really going to accomplish too much by himself. He's going to have JKW there to help out, but Mort picks up a kill, and Kib is still not done. He takes down Nicholas finally, and is able to chase around, use all the height to his advantage. Harbu has no chance here, and he'll eventually be executed.
Kib looks like he's just playing quick play right now. No one was looking at him. He's just having a time of it, and I actually want to ask you, on compLexity, we're seeing Tracer, which hasn't been too common. We're actually seeing Tracer on both teams. How do you feel about that pick?
I love Tracer just for the fact to counter Genji, because you can stay at range and do decently well against him, plus you can dash away from it and create distance. I don't know if compLexity are used to playing this Genji Tracer combo up against a team like Reunited. Like you're seeing Valataja and McCree switching over to the Tracer just because they want to buy time. They know they just have to drag out the fight as long as they possibly can. And speaking of the fight, Kib picks up one, Unfix secures another one. Yet again, the Transcendence was used a little bit preemptively, but Torque finally picks up 2 kills. That's what we needed to see happen. Now Nicholas needs to finally chime in here for his team, and for the hopes of them to win this first game, or at least play it to a third map. But it's not going to happen. Winghaven secures 2, and now we're hitting the 2-minute mark. If this next attack fails, you can say goodnight here for compLexity.
This is unreal. I want to stress again that I thought this was a pretty even game before we got started here. So this isn't just like, oh, Envious beat another team. This is surprising to me.
And I think, again, we're seeing the caliber. I think Reunited have always been forever second when it came to tournaments until they finally were able to win some random cup that happened, actually. And they're looking to finally fight back here. The pulse bomb going to come in, but not really connect on it too much. But again, they're about buying time. They're about picking up some kills. The Sounder and the Transcendence being used. Shake trying to pop this one to keep his teammates alive, but they're being attacked from the backside here. Unfix will take Shake down, and Valu's just not being harassed at all. Finally, the Winston's able to turn around onto him, but it just doesn't matter because Kib's going to be there. Him and Valu working well together, taking them down one by one, and Reunited will hold a
again.
For a second there, it looks like compLexity actually had that figured out and actually had it. They had people on the point. And it's unfortunate they go down again. There's definitely no way they're going to be able to do this. They're at 2 minutes 50 seconds now. They would have to get the cart to the end in like 40 seconds.
Which isn't even physically possible. And compLexity are certainly going to be able to GG out of this one soon. I mean, I think we obviously want to keep fighting. Yeah, you don't want to try to just give up when you still want to fight it out. But that's going to be it. That's going to be Reunited taking a very quick 2-0.
Yeah, you can hear the crowd cheering. I'm glad they understand how much of a great showing that was from Reunited, who moving on to the next rounds. I can't even wait to see the rest of their matches now, see if they can continue this momentum against the rest of the teams. They have a great shot here.
Did Kip die on defense? I honestly cannot remember. This man has been able to come in from the rank ladder yet again and able to perform, I think, at his first LAN, at his first event, and play in front of a live crowd with his teammates next to him and perform at this kind of level. I know Timer's in the crowd. I'm looking right at him, and he's got a little bit to worry about if we do see them meet up potentially in the grand finals.
Yeah, again, I just can't say again how phenomenal of a performance that was from Reunited.
I mean, you're right. Like, these teams are relatively evenly matched, but even just having a slight advantage for one team can turn games into that.
Yeah, well, we're talking about a slight advantage turning into twice in a row, under 4-minute times, under 3-minute times. It was absurd. They're going to be going up against the winners of, I believe, what is our next match, which is going to be Cloud9 versus...
Up against Rogue.
Rogue, yes. That's another really good match coming up next.
That's pitted to be a good one, hopefully. Hopefully a lot better than this one, and not so one-sided and quickly done. But still, it's great to see Reunited at this kind of level. Like, again, they've been a team who struggled. I mean, Mitch, myself, had so much time to be able to cast them in past games. But let's see what Rachel has to say. Seltzer on the stage with Mort, it looks like.
Well, thanks so much, Huck. You know, it's not about what I have to say. It's about what Mort has to say right here. You were just giving us a little speech of the violence right there. And now we're going to take it back to the in-person talk because you're a support player, you know? And I think support, I don't really think a lot of violence. But as Zenyatta, you are absolutely destructive. What was it like for you as Zenyatta to hear that Harblue was thinking about playing some Roadhog today?
Well, it's really nice because I get a lot of farm and I don't know, Roadhog is probably the easiest target to play against.
Well, I mean, when it comes to choices that are against the meta, do you usually feel pretty confident when somebody goes against the meta, or do you feel that it's more a wild card and it could go any way?
I don't know. We actually like playing against the same meta most because surprises are always annoying. But I don't know. I don't think Roadhog is that good at the moment, so it worked out.
Well, many moons ago, in another interview, you said that you felt like your roster was one of the most flexible rosters in the game. Do you still feel like that's the case?
Yeah, for sure. And I think with Kip, Kip can literally play any class he wants, so that's really good.
And how do you accommodate for that in your conversation, in your call-outs, and in your strategies? When you go into a match, do you pretty much have a set idea what you're doing, or do you make those kind of decisions on the fly?
No, we do have a set rollout on every map, but like after the first stage, it's always improvising. So that's about it.
Well, that was an incredibly impressive performance, and I couldn't help but notice that right down here in the front row, it was Team Envy is keeping a close eye on you. So are you worried at all that they might have seen something that they could use against you?
Nah, not really.
All right, and how are you guys feeling going into the next matchup today?
Confident, and it's going to be fun to see, because I have actually no clue who's going to win between C9 and Rogue. We played them a lot both, and they are both really good, so.
Is there a preference you'd rather go against?
No, not really.
All right, then we shall see how it all plays out for you and your team. Mort, thank you so much. As we're going to go to the analyst desk, when we come back, we have a bit more Overwatch just for you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Now, that game. I hoped it would be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not the only one on the panel who had the hopes.
I think
Some predicted it, though. The interview summed it up.
The interview lasted longer than the game, actually, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm really struggling to find questions because
well, so was Rachel.
what is there to say, really? I was just very one-sided. Also, Reunited, like if you looked at them after the match, didn't break a sweat. It didn't even look like they just played a game. I was like, oh yeah, I accidentally touched my keyboard, and then that victory string came up, and then I just kind of went off stage again.
They weren't happy.
Well,
it's like they expected
but we
it.
just asked you this, Huck.
I saw
Are you
Wayne even
happy
crack a
when-
smile at the end.
Yeah.
But
When you win that that hard, you can't be happy. I mean, you're happy that you won, but you just like, this felt a little too easy.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
It's like,
But I wouldn't feel bad for complexity. Like,
See, I asked him, like, have you ever felt bad for an opponent if you won in a very one-sided way? He's just like, no.
But let's be serious. 3 minutes, 3 seconds on King's Row. Sure, we thought, okay, maybe they caught them out a couple of times. 3 minutes 39 on Gibraltar, that's sick. Because it's an 11-minute map. 11-minute map, and it took them 3 minutes 39 seconds.
Should we still try to break it down a little bit? I mean, let's look at the picks. Do you guys feel like hero pick-wise, they could have maybe done anything to defend that? Or was that really just individual skill and team play, which was just so overwhelmingly better on the Reunited side?
You know, we actually did see a tracer on defense on Gibraltar, which seemed a little bit strange to me. So some things with the hero selection had me scratching my head once or twice. And even when Harblue did hit the hook, we saw it on stream, he got stuck behind the wall. It just felt like absolutely nothing could go right for this team today. You got to feel for them a little bit, but best of luck in the next matches. They're still in the tournament. We'll hope that they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps and put on a better game face.
The problem with this group, though, is they're going to go up against either Rogue or C9 next, and they're fairly even. It doesn't look good ever right now for them. After that matchup, like, you got to, I don't know, like, have a pep talk or something.
That's not good for morale. I mean,
there's nothing good about that for complexity. There's no silver lining.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all bad. It's all bad.
When you lose, sometimes you can look at it and go, it's all right, guys. We know we can learn from this, but holy moly.
Yeah, I don't think you can take away too much from the game we just saw. However, Reunited is now waiting in the winners match final, and we're going to see if they will be joined by either Cloud9 or Rogue. complexity, however, dropped down. They're not out yet. We do have the elimination match today, so it is a possibility that they indeed go home today. But of course, we're not wishing for that. However, one of the teams has to leave us today, and yeah, we're just going to see which one is going to be. And I don't know. Like, I just sincerely hope that the next matchup we're having coming up, Cloud9 against Rogue, I really don't want to see this kind of match again.
I mean, I didn't want to say it. The interviews we were talking about, they were sounding confident, but Americans tend to do that when they come out. Whereas more, you know, typically Scandinavian didn't really want to say a great deal to poor old Rachel, who was trying to extract that information from him, but he wasn't really giving up too much.
No, he didn't give up anything. Yeah, that's about as tough as to get a kill against him. So I think she did a lot.
Yeah.
I really think she did. Now we're heading into a quick break, and then we're back with the second match of Group B here in the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown. So stay tuned.